Alright, guys. Make sure I look good. Alright. My lighting looks good. Alright. Hope everybody's week went well. Might as well introduce myself. Hi, my name is Daryl Phillips, owner of Warpology Gaming, and what we do here is listen to you talk. It is the end of the week, and I hope that everybody had a good week today. I know some people had to work today. It was a beautiful day today, actually. I hope that y'all's week coming up, if you didn't have a good week, I hope it gets better. You know, not everybody gets a weekend. Some people have to work on weekends, so forth and so on. You know, yesterday, that's the subject that I did on who you've into is directly associated with where to. These two questions, the who and the where, are probably the most important questions you should be asking when dealing with both this ingredient, venting, and taking advice. You don't want to go to a dummy to get advice from either. You know what I mean? So who matters on that too. So, you know, what I do, this is what me and Sophia have come out with, what we do every day. So she leaves work, and I wish her well. You know, we wake up or whatever. I try to wish her a good day every day. She wishes me a good day every day. Start the day good. She has her day. Her day's pretty hard. Sometimes my day's hard. Sometimes I'm in pain or something, and whatever it may be. And when she comes in the door, she gets in her comfy clothes. We go out on the patio, and we don't come in until she's done venting. A lot of times what's been happening lately is we'll go for a drive over to Valero, get some stuff, maybe stuff in the store, and she'll talk to me while she's in the car. Those are good places to vent in the public. Let me put it this way. Some things are common sense. You don't want to be talking about how you want to kill yourself in a grocery store. I was venting the other day, a couple days ago, about how frustrating it is that my body doesn't work right sometimes anymore. And it's very frustrating that, like, for example, one of the changes that I've had to make recently is to my diet again. And so I haven't had a jalapeno in 4 months. You say, oh, poor Daryl. Well, that's part of my diet, man. It's a change in my diet. I don't get to have what I want. So when people go, well, what do you want to eat? Don't ask me that question. It's frustrating right now. Okay? And I kind of vented the other day, and we were about to get out of the car. I said, don't get out of the car yet. I don't think I want to talk about this stuff outside the car. It's nobody's business. So be aware of that kind of thing. But what if you're in the middle of a grocery store and something happens and you have to vent right there? Well, trick question. You need to wait till you get out of the grocery store. You can't scream and yell and act like a baboon. Okay? I don't care what mental illness you have. I'll say it again. Just to remind you, or if anybody comes on here new that doesn't know, I have bipolar disorder. That's not a psych disorder like schizophrenia. It is an emotional disorder, which means I don't have a stop button. Which means if you get me riled up enough, if I cannot stop it, that's what I have worked on for 18 years. I have worked on that, though. There's a lot of people that don't work on their stuff, and they barely understand their own disorder. And you start getting them riled up, they'll get riled up, and you just triggered a manic episode, or you just triggered suicidal thoughts in the case of depression. Sorry, like I said, my chat's over here. Do y'all feel me on that? Okay, right. In the end, what you want to get to, this is kind of there is an end goal to this, by the way. At first, when I started venting all of my stuff out, it was explosions. A series of explosions that would last for hours sometimes. Poor Sophia. You know. You know, uh, she was willing to put up with it. All right. But what you want to get to the point of, you want formalized thoughts so they can give you advice. So the person that's listening, if they want to give you advice, they need to be able to hear what you're saying. So if you're babbling the same thing over and over again, see, the thing is about venting, and I talk about this in reference to cleaning your house. When you're cleaning your house, okay, when you're getting rid of all your baggage, like if you have went for years without talking about your past, talking about things you should be talking about, there's going to be a lot of stuff come out that's going to be extremely painful to talk about. All right? You're going to need someone there to talk to. All right? And don't fall for that old age philosophy of, well, just suck it up and rub some dirt in it. No one should have to deal with their problems by themselves. I don't teach that. I will never abide by somebody who would let somebody roll around in their guilt, their cess, just because they don't have time for it. I don't deal with people like that. We don't do that here. I don't do that here. Sophia doesn't do that. All right. But there is an end goal. Eventually, over time, what ended up happening was I was talking calmer. I was venting, but I was talking calmer so that I could espouse the thoughts that I really was having problems with. See, at first, the reason why I say it takes a very different kind of person to deal with someone with issues. It just does. All right? Well, the reason why is because at first, when you have a chaotic mind, things are going to come out not even in order, and it's not going to make sense. So you have to be able to glean that information. That's why a lot of people will say go to a counselor. I get that. I understand. But you're dealing with a guy who's already dealt with it. Thank God. In other words, I've had to do my training has been within my own life. I have dealt with this stuff. That's why Christy, my cousin, asked if I wanted to get a life coach license. I've thought about it, but I like it like this. I would rather be your friend. I don't want a license. I don't need a license to be your friend. I'm your friend. I should be able to listen to you, right? Period. That's who I am. I remember what it was like to not have people around me to talk to. So I want to hear what you have to say, right? And so the thing about venting, and as we will discuss this coming up week, because I'm going to show you the connection between venting and taking advice. They are married. They are married. They are not separate. Well, they're separate, but they're really not separate, though. Because you're getting rid of the stuff out of your head that is bad. And you're replacing it with, in fact, you're really fulfilling the first two steps in this process. Cleaning your house and filling your house, because you're supposed to be filling your house with good things. You clean your house and then you fill your house. Venting and taking advice are directly associated with that. Got it? In other words, the idea of change it's a process. This is a process. It's not easy. It takes work and time and sleepless nights and crying and tears and anger. Sometimes alcohol treatment, like in my case, that I've had before in my past. If you do drinking, I say this in my clean your house video, actually, that you guys will watch later. I say that, if you do drugs or drinking, you're probably going to do a lot of drugs and drinking, because you're dealing, sometimes, like in my case, drinking, I was not going to be able to vent properly without drinking. I was not. It was a lubrication for my emotions because it was so painful to get out my emotions that the drinking helped with that. Now, is it the correct way to go? Of course. That's why we're talking right here. That's why I'm showing you how to do it without the drinking. Okay. But I had to learn it the hard way. All right. So there's that, right? Now, the where about it is about the placement. Where do you feel more comfortable venting? In my case, I feel more comfortable outside. I just do. I feel comfortable at the patio, talking, so I can sit down. Especially nowadays, now that my body doesn't work correctly, and I have my legs that don't work right. So standing sucks. But outside for me, outside doing stuff. When I do photography for my YouTube channel, or for things that you guys see, any of the B-roll you guys see, the videos I take, it's a form of where I can relax and talk. I have had many conversations with Sophia and with Duantu with my camera in my hand. So maybe it's that, right? When we get into the no distractions thing, when you're taking the advice and you're trying to contemplate on it, I think that music is very important. Music is very important, in my opinion, because music. Now, I apologize for anybody who's not a Christian, but there's a reason why the Bible says that the angels sang when the foundations of the earth were created. Music was created by God, period. There's a reason why part of the worship, part of the way God wants you to worship Him, is through music. Music, I think, it's a thing to the soul, and it depends. It is not a specific kind of music, but I think it can lubricate your feelings so you can actually talk about them, even if you have to go by yourself and think about what you feel, what to say before you say it, right? That's just my opinion. Hello. So do y'all understand? So I am, me naturally being a musical person. I used to write music. I've actually written a symphony before. But you don't have to be a musician to listen to music, right? Now I would debate whether or not, some people say, well, I watch TV. That's great. You can do that, I guess, if that's what you feel like doing. In my opinion, when you're watching TV, you're paying attention to the TV and not what you're thinking about in your head. That's my opinion of it. I think that if you're going to do something that you need, because I can tell you this, because I understand the idea of distracting, like when you're walking, having distracting thoughts. When I used to not be able to walk down the street without headphones on, because I couldn't stand my mind. I use outside a lot to do a lot of thinking. Outside is a great way but outside for venting is a great place to vent. Just not in public. Just not in public. Because in the end, someone's going to see you and you're going to say something stupid. Or not stupid, but you're going to say something that they're not going to get, because you know how people are. People are nosy Parkers, and they'll hear you say, well, I hate my boss, I want to kill him. Well, hope you enjoyed jail time, because that person just heard you commit a terroristic threat, even though that's not what you were doing. But if a person feels threatened by you, they can call the cops and you get 6 months in jail. Just so you know. Just letting you know that just letting it off your chest is not it. Smashing stuff, like especially, I don't care where it is, that might make you feel better. You got no progress done. There's a behind the purpose. idea for venting. It's not just to let out your emotions. It's to let another human being know that you need help. That you need help with something. Please help me with this thing that's frustrating me. Do you understand? So, back when I first met Sophia, I had no rhyme or reason of my emotions whatsoever. I had no up or down or sideways or inside, outside. My emotions went everywhere, y'all. Right? Y'all follow me? What's up, Lori? How you doing, Sammy? So, do y'all follow me? How do you get that unconfused? How did I get that unconfused? Because it was very confusing for me. And at first, it was a lot of yelling, a lot of back and forth and going between this place and I should have done this. Well, what if I should have done this? I could have done this. It was all that stuff. But over time, as Sophia's listening to me talk, she's gleaning information that maybe I'm not getting, especially when I was drunk. I said a lot of stuff to her that made sense to her, that I felt like I wasn't getting my point across. I would get frustrated because I'm not getting my point across. I'd stop talking. She's like, no, keep talking, keep talking. But you really want to get to a point where you're sober, that you're aware of your thoughts when they're coming out of your mouth. Okay? That you know the difference between an emotion and a thought. You say, well, duh, Daryl. Okay, no, it's not duh. Sometimes we are so harsh on ourselves. Okay? I remember, because sometimes, like, I'd be in public, and I felt like I had to be a certain way. So I didn't speak. And it's a good thing I didn't speak because I had a lot of emotions that were not good. However, I started to feed myself this bullshit that I had no right to feel any emotions. And then when nobody wanted to be around me anymore, I kept those emotions inside. And I would have flare-ups where I would blow up at somebody I didn't mean to blow up at. That's what happens when you don't vent, by the way. That's what happens when you don't vent. It builds up and builds up until finally someone does something to annoy you that maybe you even care about. That you normally wouldn't act a certain way, but you blow up at them and you didn't mean to. And now you've hurt somebody you didn't mean to hurt. They got the collateral damage. That's not good. That's not good. Controlled venting. As you guys are aware of, I'm sure, of these California fires. One of the biggest mistakes that California made is what I've known all my life about fire. If you do controlled burns, that it has no fuel. Controlled burns. Venting. Controlled burns. Same difference. If you don't control the fire, you're going to burn the whole place down. And no one wants to be around somebody like that. No one. Where they're afraid to say anything to them? No. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all have to. Right? And so in other words, the who of it and the where of it are connected. So you have to pick a spot. That spot that me and Sophia chose for Dwan's memorial That was a spot that Dwan used to love to go to write his poetry. That was his spot. And I taught him that. I taught him to do that. And he loved that spot. I generally like to be outside. Some people don't like to be outside. Sophia prefers to be in her room watching her TV. I told her about the TV, but that's her thing. Some people can do it. The point is, Sophia vents to me. Just because y'all don't see it. Just because y'all don't see it doesn't mean Sophia doesn't vent to me. She vents to me every day. Every day when she gets home from work. She's my best friend. She's been there for me, so I do the same for her. So we have our moment where we have set aside a moment in our day in which we do these things. I hear people say all the time, well, I don't have time. Do you have time for a TV show? Then you have time. Yes, you do. I have 4 kids. True, you don't have a lot of time. Do your kids sleep? Okay. That's when you got to do it. You got to choose a time. Now, I didn't say it would be convenient for you. But what's worse? What's worse? You get a little less sleep because you chose to vent to somebody like your husband or your wife or your significant other or friend, or you keep it inside and you blow up at your kids. I'll let y'all figure out which is worse. That is my stomach messing up. Sorry about that. That was loud. That was loud. My stomach's deciding to vent to y'all. What? Y'all heard it? That is loud. Holy crap. Jesus. That's so sad. Anyway. But do y'all follow what I'm saying? What I wanted to make sure that I covered this week is in detail what venting was about. And I did that. What we're going to get into next week is we're going to get into showing how the connection between venting and taking advice is they're connected. They're attached. They're a married couple. Without one, the other is not effective. If you don't vent, taking advice means nothing. You're not going to listen to a person with all this stuff on your head, and vice versa. If you haven't vented, excuse me, if you haven't taken advice, what was the point of venting? Why did you empty your head? It's just going to get filled up again, right? Think about that. I want to say one last thing before I get off here about, I see a lot of stuff. I've been paying attention to a lot of politics, and I'm not going to get political or anything. But I've been really fascinated by the process, how the congressmen debate these Trump nominees for his cabinet. I love debating, so I think it's fascinating. It also helps me communicate with you guys better, because that way, if you guys have a disagreement with me, that way I know how to come at you a lot better. That's why I listen. I listen to people. Therefore, I can better understand where their argument is coming from. That's why I say the things I do, because this isn't a closed forum. This is YouTube. You're supposed to be able to talk to me. I say at the very beginning that this is so that listen to you talk. But I've been paying attention to these cabinet, these Senate hearings for these nominees. It's fascinating what people will say about people when they don't like them. It's just fascinating, And I would say to you, you can learn a lot by watching that kind of stuff. It might be boring for you, but what I would say that I learned this week is, man, there's some really hateful people. The people that you wouldn't think that would be hateful are really hateful people. I just watch how some of these nominees for his cabinet, for Trump's cabinet, are just taking it like champs. It's amazing to see. I've taken a lot of that in my life. I've taken a lot of guff in my life from people that don't like me, that they don't want to hear what I have to say because they don't like me. It's just fascinating to watch. Oh no. That was my light. My light is misbehaving. Okay, so anyway, I hope that you guys had a wonderful week, though. And I hope that you guys learned something today and this week. I hope that I taught you. If you have any questions, go back into my lives from this week and watch my venting video. If you have any questions about venting, and maybe any questions you want to, ask me about whatever it is that's on your head. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to talk to me. That's what I'm here for, because I understand what it's like to not have people that want to listen to you. All I know is just... Oh, and if you're new to this channel, subscribe. It's really helpful to me, and you will learn a lot. There's a lot that I have to say. Ever since Dwan passed, I'm realizing that I can do this. It's something, part of my venting sessions with Sophia lately have been about that. Have been about whether, can I really do this by myself? I question myself all the time, y'all. So I have a lot of venting stuff on my head still, and I have a lot of doubt in me. I know that I get onto this camera and I look like I'm confident, and for the most part I am, but I have my doubts about myself still. I have to... It's just harder for me now, especially with all my physical ailments and things. But thank God I have a group of people around me, people I love very much. I love all y'all. And I love anybody who comes to this channel, because I know you're coming here to learn, to be different, to learn something different about being a different person. I care about people because I remember what it was like when nobody cared about me. And Dwan died for that. And I want to make sure that I'm the best person I can be and the most informative person I can be on these subjects that I talk about, because they're not easy. I mean, I guess I could talk about all sorts of stuff if I wanted to. But I wanted to talk about something that means a lot to me in my heart. You know what I mean? And so I hope that you guys had a good week, and I hope that you guys continue to have good days ahead. It's a new year. It truly is a enlightening time right now. There's a lot going on. And I hope that everybody tries to do the best they can for one another. Seriously. So, that being said, be safe when you're traveling. I will see you guys on Monday. Be safe when you're traveling. Be safe when you get there. Be aware of your surroundings. Be understanding of one another, not just from your perspective, but from theirs. Be understanding of yourself. You're not God. Can't be everywhere all at once. Do what you can, but don't feel bad if there's stuff you cannot do. We're not God. Remember that life is fleeting. You're not promised your next breath. So take now, go outside your box, and you never know what you may learn about yourself. Until Monday, may the Lord light guide you in all things. Goodbye.